Okay, so remember, our challenge question is, what are the trade-offs of introducing a species to a new environment? So think about that throughout this lesson as we're reading the text. Nile Perch. Lake Victoria is the second largest lake in the world, and it contains some extremely large fish. One type of fish found there, known as the Nile perch, can grow to 240 kilograms, 530 pounds, though its average size is 3 to 6 kilograms, 7 to 13 pounds. But Nile perch weren't always found in Lake Victoria. Until the 1980s, the most common fish in Lake Victoria were cichlids, small freshwater fish about 2 to 4 inches long. If you've ever seen an aquarium fish such as Oscars, Jack Dempsey's, or freshwater angelfish, you've seen a cichlid. Lake Victoria cichlids interest ecologists, scientists who study relationships between organisms and environments, because there are so many species of this fish. Although they all belong to the same family, at one time there were over 300 different species of cichlids in Lake Victoria. Almost 99% of these species could not be found anywhere else in the world. There used to be many other kinds of fish in the lake, including catfish, carp, and lungfish. The 30 million people who lived around Lake Victoria relied on the lake for food. Because most of the fish were small, they could be caught using simple fishing nets and a canoe. The fish were then dried in the sun and sold locally. By the late 1950s, however, it appeared that the lake was being overfished. So many fish were caught that the populations remaining did not have enough members left to reproduce and grow. If the lake continued to be overfished, there might not be enough fish left for people to eat. As a result, the British government, which ruled this part of Africa at that time, decided to introduce new fish species, such as Nile perch, into the lake. They wanted to increase the amount of fish that was available to eat, and they hoped to provide more high-protein fish for local people to be able to sell extra fish to other countries. Ecologists were opposed to this idea. They were worried that the introduction of the Nile perch, which had no natural enemies within the lake, would negatively affect the lake's ecosystem. Before a final decision could be made, Nile perch were secretly added into the lake. Eventually, more Nile perch were deliberately added by the government in the early 1960s. During the 1960s and 70s, before there were a lot of Nile perch in the lake, about 100,000 metric tons of fish, including cichlids, were caught each year. By 1989, the total catch of fish from Lake Victoria had increased to 500,000 metric tons. Today, each of the 3 countries surrounding the lake, Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania, sell extra fish to other countries. In the graph below, you can see how the amount of fish caught by Kenyan fisheries has changed over a 15-year period. Besides increasing the amount of fish, there have been other consequences of introducing Nile perch into the lake. Because Nile perch are large and eat other fish, they are believed to have caused the extinction of as many as 200 species of cichlids. The populations of other types of fish, including catfish and lungfish, have also declined. Many ecologists are upset that their predictions have come true. Some of the cichlids that have become extinct ate algae. With their extinction, the amount of algae in the lake has increased 5-fold. As they break down the dying algae, decomposers use up a lot of oxygen, making it difficult for other tiny plants and animals to survive in the lake. Today, many of the deeper parts of the lake are considered dead because they don't contain much living matter. However, many of the original goals have been met. In 1979, there were 16,000 fishermen along the Kenyan shores of the lake. In 1993, there were 82,300. Many people are now employed by companies that process and sell Nile perch overseas. Over time, these fish have brought more money into the African countries surrounding the lake. Local people, who now eat the Nile perch as part of their diet, consider Nile perch a savior. Some ecologists wonder how long the current situation can last. Nile perch are predators. As populations of other fish decline, the Nile perch's food sources are declining. The stomachs of some large Nile perch have been found to contain smaller juvenile Nile perch. What will happen to the population of Nile perch if their food supply dwindles even further? Will the Nile perch population be overfished like the fish populations before it? Only time will tell.